Hello, folks. I am Alan for today's news. I will be reading and speaking about world news, interesting news, news to keep you entertained, and news to keep you informed. First thing I got for you right now, somebody shared on Facebook from TikTok. I don't have TikTok, but anyway, you can still watch it without having the TikTok. And I'm going to show it to you right now.
Can we trust our government? To answer that question, we're going to look at Ohio. And if you haven't heard about what's going on in Ohio, you're going to prove my point. Less than a week ago, a train carrying highly combustible materials crashed and all the chemicals spilled out. The National Guard had to step in and do a controlled burn of these chemicals so that there wouldn't be a major explosion, which produced this toxic mushroom cloud over Ohio. And this is slowly heading eastward towards New York City and Pennsylvania. The city had to be evacuated, but they've told residents it's okay to go back into your homes, even though residents are reporting dead fish in the rivers and dead animals, dead livestock, all of that. Vinyl chloride, the stuff that was on the train, is a highly corrosive, highly combustible, and cancer-causing liquid that when burned create fumes that have the ability to be absorbed into the soil and local water supply. And the Ohio River is a giant water supply for 6 surrounding states. This is one of the biggest ecological disasters of our history. So why aren't we hearing about it? Buckle up. The train company, the corporation responsible for this, they were warned that this could happen. That company is Norfolk Southern. You may remember them from the railroaders strike. You know, the one where the railroaders asked for better safety conditions and upgraded infrastructure and sick leave. And then our president stepped in and said, no, that company. Oh, but don't worry, they've offered $25,000 to help with disaster relief, or roughly $5 per resident, while the damages are estimated to be upwards of $500 million, and that's the small end. The thing is, guys, the government was warned that this could happen. Railroaders themselves went on strike because they knew that this could happen. And now that it has happened, the government is not doing what they need to do. The National Guard even assaulted a reporter who was reporting on this. And the governor has told people to go back to their homes. Guys, it's not safe to be in your homes right now. It's not safe to go back. The people in this town are going to be dealing with lifelong health complications because of this, if not the people in the surrounding states. Like I said, the soil is contaminated. The water is contaminated. And this corrosive chemical is also flammable. So you have flammable water in your showers, in your sinks that you're drinking. We probably won't know the true extent of this disaster for 10, 20 years, but it's not good. So can we trust the government? Thanks to lobbying? No. The government gets big paychecks from companies like Norfolk Southern and from our media conglomerates, which is why we're not hearing about this. And the train company and the media and the government, they all hope that we forget about this soon enough and go on with our lives like we forgot about Flint, Michigan. You can't trust the government.
Okay, we all know that we can't trust the government. The government hides stuff from us all the time. And you can't believe what the government tells you if they do tell you anything, because it's all propaganda anyway. Yeah, and the government, we got to do something about them. We pay the salary, we pay the president, the politicians and stuff like that, and they keep stuff from us. And we got to stop it somehow, some way. Like Elon Musk, showed that, the White House was telling the Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that, what to do, and TikTok. And anyway, let's go on with the news. This is from the New York Post. It was no mistake. Chinese balloons hinting to an attack. The Chinese balloon was shot down on February 4th, lingered over Malmstrom Air Force Base, the site of approximately a third of America's land-based intercontinental ballistic missiles. The balloon then flew near both F.E. Warren and Minot Air Force bases, which housed the remainder of America's Minutemen, third wings. The balloon also passed close to Whiteman Air Force Base, home to the nuclear-capable B-2 bomber fleet, and Wolffoot Air Force Base, the headquarters of Strategic Command and controls U.S. nuclear weapons. This path suggests China is gathering intelligence for either a first or second strike on America's nukes. Whatever China is planning, the violation of American territorial airspace was revealed. The dangerous mentality of Chinese leadership. And who knows, they're probably trying to get information for Russia. You know, there are several alternative explanations for why Beijing engaged in such a brazen act at this moment. It's possible that the Chinese military has become so politically powerful inside the ruling Communist Party that it could launch this balloon without consulting other regime elements. Perhaps Chinese rulers had decided this was the time to intimidate the United States into not defending, say, Taiwan or Japan. You can read the rest of this in my description box. Here's something from the HuffPost. Let's see. People with disabilities. This is from out of Washington. A new proposal for the Social Security Administration will make life easier for millions of disabled Americans whose friends and families help them out with food. The proposal, set to be published Wednesday in the Federal Registry, will make it so the government no longer cuts monthly benefits for people who get regular help with meals or groceries. More than 7 million Americans with disabilities receive monthly payments from the Supplemental Social Security Income Program, which has strict eligibility requirements that Congress hasn't adjusted for decades. Let's see what it says down here. Beneficiaries give the government permission to monitor their bank accounts, and an application from on the Social Security Administration website asks that the applicants buys all their own food separately from household members, or if someone from outside the house helps them. It says down here the maximum Social Security benefit is $914, but it can drop by a third, or $304 if someone else pays for a beneficiary food or rent. So you're going to read the rest of this in my description box if it interests you. Here is something from the New York Post. Ukraine losing large number of troops as it boasts about Russian casualty. Now, first they say Russia losing a lot. Now they're saying Ukraine losing a lot. While Ukraine has been boasting about taking out massive number of Russian soldiers, including a record day for a casualty last week, Kyiv has also been losing a staggering number of its own troops. Western intelligence sources estimate that each side has suffered approximately 150,000 casualties since Russia launched its invasion on February 24th. Norway's defense chief general, I can say his last name, Kristofferson, I thought I could, last month on Norwegian TV, that the most recent intelligence suggests that Ukraine has lost 100,000 troops and 30,000 civilians in the course of the war. Meanwhile, Kristofferson, said Russia had 180,000 soldiers who were either wounded, killed, or missing. And you're going to read the rest of this in my description box if you want. We're all going to die anyway, you know. This whole world is going to hell in a handbasket. This is from 1945. Putin is angry. We all know that. Ukraine sanctions are hitting the Russian military hard. It said that Ukraine has imposed another wave of sanctions on Russia over the Ukraine war. London is now targeting the country's defense and aerospace industries, which support Russian President Putin illegal war in Ukraine. More sanctions over Ukraine. In the latest package of sanctions, the UK targeted 5 companies: CST, which manufacture unmanned aerial vehicles for the Russian military; RT Koplik, which manufacture helicopter ports used by the Russian military. Another company here, I can't see that name, which facilitates the transportation and delivery of Russian military equipment. So they're sanctioning any company that helps Russia is what they're doing. And there's more to read in my description box if you like. I don't know why my voice always gets hoarse when I start doing these casts. This is from the Newsweek. Oh no, the News USA. The News US. Why the U.S. used missiles, not cheap bullets, to shoot down Chinese balloon. 3 unidentified objects. The U.S. fighters fired 5 heat-sinking AIM-9X Sidewinders missiles to take down 4 aerial objects floating high above U.S. and Canadian airspace. The unidentified floating octagon shot down over Lake Huron in upper Michigan required 2 Sidewinders because the first ones failed to detect the object, did not fuse, and crashed harmlessly into the Lake Huron. The military and Biden administration got some blowback for using $400,000 Sidewinder to take down 4 balloons, 3 of which likely turned out to be benign objects, but the military's ability to respond to balloons with similar craft is contained by physics and the capability of current weapons. And you can't really pop a giant balloon with gunfire at 40,000 feet. That's a lot of money for a missile. Now you know where your tax money going. You can fill a balloon full of bullet holes, and it's going to stay at altitude, said David, a retired Air Force lieutenant general and fighter pilot, tells the Post. The air pressure that high up doesn't allow helium to freely escape through the small holes. Even if fighter jets flying by at hundreds of miles per hour can riddle the nearest sanctuary balloons with bullets. Canada figured out that the hard way in 1998 when it tried to bring down a giant runaway weather balloon launched from Saskatchewan, I can't say that Canadian name, to measure ozone levels. Anyway, you can read the rest of that in my description box. I'm just running by these real quick. Let's see, this from 1945. Does Russia really want Alaska back? No, Putin has bigger plans. The Russians are well known for their hyperbole. They will always overstate the effectiveness of their military equipment. Their rulers will routinely exaggerate the support they receive from their citizens and around the world. So when a member of Russia's parliament complained about U.S. seizures of assets from Russian companies, suggested that Russia take back Alaska, it is pretty easy to laugh it off. Back in July of last year, a Putin ally, Speaker of the Duma, the Russian parliament lower house, said, let America always remember there is a part of its territory that is Russia, Alaska. He continued, when they attempt to appropriate our assets abroad, they should be aware that we also have something to claim back. Another Russian lawmaker at the time suggests that a referendum be held in Alaska. And Alaska distraction, think Arctic. The United States purchased Alaska from Russia in 1867 for $7.2 million. Once gold was discovered in 1896, the population swelled. Alaska became a state in 1959. And there's more if you want to read about it. Here's something from the street. Comcast caught in another customer service scandal. To be fair, it's more of a non-service issue that has the cable and internet company customer and maybe the FCC angry. Comcast keeps stumbling from customer service scandals to pricing problems and just generally doing things that outrage consumers. The company routinely advertises a price for a service it then lacks on everything from broadcast television and regional sports fees to modem and cable box rentals. And in most cases, these added fees are mandatory and are not disclosed up front. That not only has consumer up in arms, it has caught the attention of Biden. The idea that cable internet and cell phone companies can charge you $200 or more if you decide to switch to another provider. Give me a break, Biden said during the State of the Union address. Junk fees may not matter to the very wealthy, but they matter to most other folks in homes like the ones I grew up in, like many of you did. They add up to hundreds of dollars a month. They make it hard for you to pay your bills or afford the family trip. Then you got to read the rest of that in my description box. And here's something from the Hill. U.S. intercepts 4 Russian warplanes near Alaska. North American Aerospace Defense Command said it detected 4 Russian aircraft, including Tu-95 Bear-H bombers and Su-35 fighter aircraft entering and operating within the Alaska Air Defense Identification Zone, according to the Tuesday statement. Now, I heard that they were still not in our air zone or airspace. They were still out of our airspace. So, NORAD officials said they have anticipated the Russian activity that were able to quickly scramble 2 F-16 fighters to intercept the Kremlin aircraft in the Aegis, which covers the international airspace outside the U.S. and Canada near the northern state. 2 F-35A fighters, an E-3 Sentry, and 2 KC-135 were also sent to assist. The command noted that the incident is no way related to objects shot down over the United States and Canada this month. And the Russian aircraft did not enter the 2 countries' sovereign airspace. And that's all I got for you today. You can read the rest of this in my description box if you want to read it. So here, because such Russian activity happens so regularly, an average of 6 to 7 intercept of criminal military aircraft, it has not seen as a threat, nor the activity seen as proactive, according to NORAD. They're just making everybody nervous, with everything going on. Anyway, that's all I got for you. Thanks for watching. And this is Alan for today's news, signing out. And don't forget to like, subscribe, or come back once in a while. Later.